Hello everybody, I'm Elainabahm, your psychic medium, and welcome to today's videos. Today's video is all about me answering your questions. So for the past couple of weeks, I've been getting a lot of questions emailed to me. So I decided, let's do a video to answer all your questions. Now in the future, if you have any questions for me, just comment them below the video, or you can send me a direct email with your question. I'll add it to the next video's list. But before I get into the answers, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button on the channel. It really helps grow my channel, and I'm really trying to get to at least 1,000 subscribers, and I greatly appreciate your support. So here we go. Let me answer your questions. And first off, you have to understand, when I introduce myself and somebody asks me, what do you do for a living? And I tell them, oh, I'm a psychic medium. I get one or two reactions. I'll either get, oh my goodness, that's so cool. And they start becoming curious, and then they start asking me a bunch of questions about what I do. If it's somebody who does not believe in what I do, they drop it very quickly, and they either turn away from me or they just don't acknowledge what I do for a living, and they change the subject, which is completely fine for me, because I understand that this is not everybody's cup of tea, and I highly respect everybody's opinion. But the people who do get curious and ask me questions, I have absolutely no issues or problems answering your questions. So the first question I got is, when did you know you had this gift? I'm 45 years old now, so when I look back, excuse me, I could probably tell you around 8 years old, I knew I had this psychic gift. I just knew things as a child. Like if you asked me who would pass away first, mom or dad, I always knew mom would pass away first. Always. It was like a no-brainer for me. It's like, no, mom's going to die first. How I knew that, why I knew that, no idea. I just knew it. And it didn't make sense because my father was 8 years older than my mother. So technically, biologically, my dad should have passed away before my mom. And no. So my mom ended up passing away at age 56. I was 25, and she passed away from kidney cancer. My dad passed away almost 5 years ago now at age 80, and I was 40 years old. So looking back, I knew I had this psychic gift. But you got to remember, I'm 8 years old. You don't know how to rationalize this information. You don't even know what to do with it. And then even when you become a teenager and in young adulthood, you still don't know how to rationalize this information. You just think, oh, it's a lucky guess, lucky guess, lucky guess. But then your lucky guesses happen too often. And then you realize, okay, no, there's something to this. My first encounter with spirit, the first one I remember is when I was 12. And my grandmother visited me that night. She died. And it was my father's mother who passed away. And I remember she visited me in the nighttime. I was wide awake, laying in bed. I heard footsteps in my room. The room went freezing cold. And I remember a hand stroking my cheek. And I remember saying out loud, Baba, which is grandmother in Ukrainian. I said, Baba, I know you're here, but you're freaking me out. Can you please leave? And I remember I'm holding the covers and I'm closing my eyes and I'm like this because I'm scared. Excuse me, I'm scared here. And the stroking of the cheek stopped. The room went back to regular temperature, and I heard the footsteps walking away from me back towards the window. So that was my first encounter with spirit. So like I said, it scared the hell out of me so much I told my grandmother to leave. And she did. But little did I realize spirit would always be knocking on my door and coming to visit me. But again, you're a teenager, you're a young adult, you don't know how to rationalize this unless you really hone in and you start developing your gift, and then you start paying attention, you start getting curious, then you start understanding how this gift unfolds for you. So that's when I knew I had these gifts. But I can honestly say I truly started using them in my 20s, like for myself or for friends and family members. But out to the public, I recently just started out to the public, and I absolutely love it. Second question, were you born with it or did it develop over time? You know, people always think you have to be born with this. Guess what? We're all born with these gifts. We all have psychic or intuitive gifts. It's just whether you want to develop them and pay attention to them. So yes, I developed my gifts to be stronger. And I still do that. I still do practices. I still meditate. I still get Reiki sessions done. I still do my exercises that help me tune in onto my gifts and develop them even further. That never ends. So I guess we all have the gifts. It's just whether you want to develop them or pay attention to them. And if you want to know how you can develop them, just send me a message and I'll give you some exercises you can do. It's really not that hard. Is it ever scary to see or hear spirit? No, no. I can't say I've ever been scared by spirit or hearing spirit. So you got to understand, before I do an event or a reading, I call on my angels, I call on my spirit guides. Like, I do a whole process before I even go into a reading. And I call on my archangels, again, my spirit guides, my angels, and I tell them to put a ring of white light around me. And I only allow positive energies to come through. So I do remember one time I did an event at a winery, and it was just mediumship. So there was I didn't bring my tarot cards, and basically I was just reading the spirits of the room. It was wine tasting and mediumship. And at the end of the evening, so the event was already over, I was still there. People were coming up to me, asking me questions. And I remember this one lady came up to me, and she was already, a little bit intoxicated, which I get. It was wine tasting, and the event was great. So she comes up to me, she goes, "Any spirits by me?" And I looked at her and I said, "Yeah." I said, "You have an older female standing beside you, and it feels like she's a grandmother to you." And then she got really upset at me. She goes, "That's not who I want to come through." And I go, "Well, I'm sorry. I can't control who comes through. That's up for spirit. That's up to spirit. I'm just the messenger. I can't control who comes through for you in a reading. That's, like I said, that's up to spirit." So she got really upset, and she actually started crying about it. But remember, it was the end of the evening. The event was already over. I'm on my way out. But the interesting part was I couldn't speak to this spirit, though, which I found was really interesting. So on my drive home that evening, I'm like, why couldn't I speak to that spirit? Because normally spirit and I have a whole conversation happening after I connect with them. But with this spirit, I couldn't connect with them. All I knew, it was an older female grandmother. That's it. I couldn't speak to her. And then on my drive home, I went, oh my goodness, figured it out. You got to remember, I put a ring of white protective light around me that only allows positive energies to come through. That's what I request of my angels and my spirit guides and the archangels, to protect me. And what the lady did say when she was upset that it was her grandmother was coming through and not somebody else, she said, "My grandmother was a monster." So that's why I couldn't understand the spirit or speak to the spirit or connect with the spirit, because it wasn't a good energy. So my spirit guides protect me. All my spirit guides showed me was it was an older female grandmother. That's it, Elaina. You're not communicating with this spirit. You're not going to get anything else. So my spirit guides protect me from any evil energies. So do I ever get scared when the spirit comes through? No. Sometimes messages can get confusing. Like the other day, I was doing an event, and this lady's grandmother came through, and she was like mumbling. And I was just trying to understand her and trying to decipher what she was trying to tell me. So sometimes it can get confusing for me, but scary? No, knock on wood. Haven't been scared yet. Next question. What does it feel like when spirit connects with you? Well, everybody connects differently with spirit, but for me personally, I am a big empath. I feel everything. So my clair essence is very strong over my other clairs, over clairvoyance, clairaudience, and claircognizance. I would say claircognizance, a sense of knowing, and clair essence, being the empath, are very strong over the other two for me. So for me, when I connect with spirits, I instantly feel tingles, sensation through my body. So when I call on my angels, my whole body goes tingly. It's like angels have stepped forward. They're here. They're right beside me. We're ready to get to work. And I always thank them for showing up. But then when I'm connected to a particular spirit, I pay attention to how my face feels. So the right side of your body is masculine. The left side of your body is feminine. Well, in my case, it is. So I pay attention to where do I start feeling numbness? Do I start feeling it on my left side of my face or on the right side of my face? That will determine the gender of the spirit coming through. And then I pay attention to, well, where do I feel that numbness? Like, is it up high on my forehead, or is it low? or does it kind of feel distant out to here? Because up here would be like, so this is the right side of my body. Up here would be like a father, grandfather figure. Here would be like a brother. Then we get into like your uncles and cousins. If I feel the numbness like it's a little bit outside my body, then this can be like an in-law, or it could be like a friend, somebody who's not really blood related to you. So that's the very first thing I feel is the numbness on my face. What side of am I feeling? How strong it is, and where on my face am I feeling will help me determine who is coming through. Sometimes I get multiple spirits at once, but one side will always be stronger than the other side. So I could say, no, there's a father figure stepping forward. He's very strong. There is also a female in the room, but she's a little bit in the background right now. She's there. I feel her, but she's not as strong as, say, the father figure. So that's instantly how I connect and what I instantly feel when I connect with spirit. But everybody has their own thing. It's about understanding how do you get messages from spirit. And there's exercises you can do that I could tell you and teach you. How do you determine spirit gives you messages? Like I said, it's not actually hard. You just have to trust, pay attention, and get curious. Okay, next question. Can I turn it off, my gifts off? No, I can't. So when I go to the grocery store, when I go to a volleyball tournament, wherever there's people around me, I'll start feeling things. So no, I can't turn it off. But what I do is I set boundaries around spirit. So if spirit's trying to bug me to pass messages onto like the stranger that's sitting beside me, I just kind of tell spirit I'm not working right now, and I don't engage in a conversation with spirit. So I set boundaries. Has spirit bothered me so much so where I have gone up to a stranger? Absolutely have. I've done that a few times, but I really try not to. Because one, I'm not working, right? So no, you can't turn it off. I can't turn it off. And that, there are times where it really gets in the way of things. Like if I go out for dinner with my husband and I start feeling like nauseous, it's not me feeling sick. It's usually because there's a young woman behind me who's pregnant and I'm feeling her morning sickness. So, and that can ruin my dinner sometimes, which is not always fun, but listen, I'm so grateful for my gifts and my connection, my relationship with spirit. Like I don't begrudge anything. Can I see my own future? No. I can't use this gift for myself. So if you want to develop your psychic or your intuition, it's more so for other people, not necessarily for yourself. So funny story, like last time I took my husky to the vets, she decided to take a crap in the office, right? And she's the type of dog where she just doesn't squat and do her business. Oh no, she has to walk in a circle while she's doing it. So now it's all over the place. And I ended up stepping in it. And then the room ended up smelling really foul. Even the vet made a comment when he came in. So I was totally embarrassed. Like I didn't see any of that coming. So I stepped in my dog's duck crap. Didn't see that coming at all. So no, I can't use this gift for myself. And people always say, well, what are the lottery numbers? Or is your daughter's team going to win this tournament? I can't answer those questions. Spirit doesn't bother with those petty questions. And nor would I ever bother spirit with those petty questions. And I can't use this gift for myself. It's not for me. It's only to bring peace and clarity to others. Can I read my husband? No. Excuse me. I think it's just because we're too close. So I can't read him. I can read his family members, or I'll get like messages regarding his siblings. But can I read him? No. And can I read my children? So I have 2 daughters? No. I might have hunches about them, but I don't think that's any different than a regular mom's hunches or gut intuition when it comes to her kids. So no, I cannot read my children, and I cannot read my husband. And it's funny because people always say to Brian, oh, it must be so nice. It's so fun being married to her. And he's like, she can't read me and I can't. Next questions. Do you ever get messages for yourself? Yes, I do. So even though I can't see my future, I'll get a hunch of what my future is going to look like, or I have my own ambition and my own drive of how I want my future to look like and what I want to accomplish and where I want to be 5 years from now. But do I get messages from spirit for myself? Absolutely. Every time I look at the clock, it's always 11:11, then it's 12:12, and then it's 111, 222, 333, 444, 555. Like daily. Every time I look at the clock, it's always triple digits. So that's my angels telling me, Elaina, you're on the right path. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. Either have patience, something bigger is coming along. I get dreams. I'll get vivid dreams of either, my mom or past loved ones. And sometimes I don't always understand them. So again, like I tell you, get curious, journal your dreams. Usually there's messages within. I'll get animal messages, like I'll go for a walk with the dogs or with one of my daughters, and we'll pass like a deer, or we'll pass like three bunnies that were really close to us that didn't run away at all. And you got to remember, my dogs are a German Shepherd and a Husky. So normally animals should run away when I'm walking two big dogs like that. So when weird things like that happen, I get curious. So those are usually messages directly from me. Do I need clients to give me information during a reading? No, I don't. I don't even need you to speak to me during a reading. I mean, you don't have to speak to me at all as soon as you meet me and we sit down. However, you got to understand, if you choose to do that, and I've had many clients do that, right? Because they're coming in as a skeptic, but but I was recommended to them, so they came to get some messages from me. But initially, they're skeptics, and that's fine. But you got to remember, though, I'll get all these messages from Spirit, and I'll be jotting them down, and I'll be telling you this. So I'll get a message from Spirit, and I'll relate it to you. I may not understand the context around the message, or I might not get an understanding around the message. Like, so for instance, I'll have Spirit show me your dresser that is beside your bed. So I'll literally see a dresser and I'll see a piece of jewelry on it. So I'll say to you, like, why is your grandmother showing me your dresser with a piece of jewelry on it? She's acknowledging the jewelry, the necklace that's on it. So if you sit there and don't say anything to me, which again, that's fine, you don't have to. I just hope whatever I'm saying is resonating with you, is making sense with you. So most of the clients will be like, no, I got that from my grandmother when she passed, or no, that piece of jewelry, yep, that makes sense. I do have a necklace on the dresser. So a little bit of validation just lets me know, okay, I'm on the right track with these messages. Otherwise, if you choose not to say anything, I'm just going to say to you what Spirit's talking to me about, and I just hope it resonates with you. So, but do I really need you to even speak to me in a reading? No, but some validation or context, like, yes, that makes sense, or no, that does not make sense. Usually I appreciate, helps me out to make sure I'm on the right path with my messages. But if you don't want to give me that, that's fine. I don't. All right, everybody, those are my questions that I've gotten in the last couple of weeks. Like I said, if you have any curious questions you want to ask a psychic medium, just put the question in the comments, or you can send me a direct email. And if you're interested in booking a one-on-one reading, the link to my booking page is in the bio. Everyone, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.